Hi, I'm Phil Jump, NWBA Regional Minister, and like many people at the moment, I'm having to get used to some very different life circumstances and, in fact, get my head round what it means to do the job I do and be called to the role that I am as things develop as they are. And I know that's true also for many of our local church communities. And we've been thinking as an NWBA team about how we can support you in the weeks and months ahead. And one of the things we thought it might be helpful to do is to produce some resources that are aimed specifically at leaders. So this is the first of them, because you're the people who are in the front line supporting churches, helping local churches respond to the situation we're in. And what I'd like to do with you is to share with you 6 priorities that I think you need to be thinking about at the moment. But also, I think as time goes on, you'll see that these priorities shape the kind of resources and the kind of support we offer. So I hope it will also kind of help you navigate around the things that we offer as we seek to go forward. Priority number 1, I think, has to be looking after God's people, taking care of our congregations and our church members. Many of them will now be self-isolating, others may be health workers or other key workers in the front line, but we need to support them, we need to encourage them, we need to help people who are self-isolating feel that that's okay and find other ways of engaging with God's people while they're not able to do it in the ways that they're used to. We've also got to try and think of ways of not only keeping people connected, but keeping people spiritually healthy, looking at how we can worship, looking at how we can pray in this new phase of life that we're in. So we're going to try and put some resources around that, and we're already doing that, and we had nearly 400 people joined with us in our first live stream act of worship on the 4th Sunday of Lent. Priority number 2, I would suggest, is to look after yourselves. Your churches are going to need you as leaders in the day ahead, and your communities are going to need you as leaders. And so it's important that you look after your own well-being. Of course, that means following government guidelines and keeping yourself physically well, but it also perhaps means looking at your own spiritual health. You know, we're servant leaders, and we can all too often find ourselves so busy worrying about other people that we don't take care of ourselves. And it matters at the moment that we're able to be strong in our own faith so that we can support others in theirs. So we're going to think about some resources that we can offer, maybe to give you some practical help. A lot of us are trying to get our heads around new technologies at the moment, but also maybe try and network ministers together, and that's going to be a priority for us in the coming week, to try and connect up and connect with our leaders. Priority number 3, I suggest, is to help you think about how you can get involved in serving your community. We're already seeing local businesses, local community groups coming together, offering what they can to help people. And churches need to be part of that. So perhaps this is a time to think about the role you might have in supporting your local community. And we'd love to hear from people with the different stories of what you're doing. Obviously, our premises aren't available at the moment, but it might be something as simple as making our car park available for key workers if we're near a transport hub, or maybe using our communication links to help others in the community to keep in touch with one another, or perhaps you're going to be the people that play that key role in bringing your communities together. I heard of one church that's organising an online quiz night for people. So that kind of stuff. How can you serve your community? How can you be part of the response that is happening? Priority number 4, I think, which kind of follows on from that, is to recognise that we're still called to be a gospel people. And our circumstances may have changed and our situation may have changed, but we still need to think about how we can make the good news of Jesus known in a situation where people will be in a very different set of life circumstances, where many people will be concerned and worried at the moment. How can we look after the spiritual well-being of our communities, and how can we help people who have perhaps never prayed before, or people who come across us in our online services? How can we present ourselves and our message in a way that helps them to connect with it? What does it mean to be a missional people in these current days? Priority number 5, I think, is to look at some of the practical implications of this for local churches. And I know that some of you are already beginning to recognise that this is going to have a lot of knock-on effects. Now, can I say this, that if you are in an immediate crisis, perhaps you're in a situation where you genuinely don't know you're going to have the finances to pay your minister this month or something like that, then please get in touch with us and we'll begin to see what we can do to help. But I'd also say that a lot of these issues are being worked through at the moment, and in time you're going to get communication, particularly from our Baptist Union, offering you the guidelines and the support you need. We're not going to be able to produce those straight away, so if your needs are not absolutely urgent, maybe the first thing to do is to just wait and see what information comes out. But also, if you think there's something that we're missing, then please just drop an email to the association. We can feed that in to our national conversations, and you'll probably get a response in one of the national bulletins coming out of our Baptist Union. These things are important, but just try to think through which are the urgent ones at the moment, because there's a lot of practical things we need to think through. And finally, and it may sound a bit a bit early, but priority number 6, I suspect, is to begin to think about what life is going to be like when this is over. How can you help your community to reform when we begin to emerge from isolation? What lessons are we going to have learned? What experience and skills are we going to have gained? I think a lot of us are already beginning to sense that perhaps life is never quite going to be the same again. So we need to think now about how we are going to be church in whatever new society emerges from this. So maybe that's not a task for tomorrow, but we need to think about it before the things go back to whatever normal is. So that, I say, is priority number 6. So I hope that little framework helps you to think about how you're going to respond in the days ahead. We'll try and put resources around that. We'd love to hear from you. We need to work together on this. It's not about the NWBA team producing everything, but it's maybe about us being the focal point for other people's ideas and other people's resources to be fed in. We're not quite sure all that we're going to do. We're probably going to produce a more detailed video around each of these themes, but I hope this helps you for now. We'll be back in touch as soon as we can. In the meantime, look after yourself, stay safe, and let's do all we can to support everyone through these difficult times. Thanks for listening.